You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome.
Good morning. I'm Sue Fulmer, Secretary of the Core Council at the Center for Spiritual Living St. George, and I'm a practitioner in training. Today I've chosen the meditation from the Bhagavad Gita as translated by Swami P. and Christopher Isherwood with some of my own adaptations. So let's begin. Find a comfortable spot. Feel your body relax into your chair. Take a deep breath, hold it, and release. Again. And I quote, "Know this, my creation. You are united with me. I am the womb of all beings. I am the birth of this cosmos. I am the first cause. There is no other beside me. Upon me, these worlds are held like pearls strung on a thread. I am the essence of the waters. I am the shining of the sun and the moon. It is I who resounds in the ether. And I am potent in mankind. I am the sacred smell of the earth. The light of the fire. I am the life of all that lives. Know me, eternal seed of everything that grows. I, the intelligence of those who understand. I, the vigor of the active. In the strong, I am strength. I am unhindered. You are united with me. Ponder this message. Thank you for your attention. Know that you are loved and cared for, and you are a very important part of the One. Sunday service will begin soon. Thank you for joining us today. Namaste.
You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, St. George Sunday service. We're really happy you're here with us, wherever you are and whenever you are. So if you're joining us later, it's just like being with us right now. I'm sure you'll enjoy today's service. We're an open, loving, and inclusive community. We support thinking creatively and living a very spiritual life So this is a safe place to hang out. So come on, hang out with us for a little while. Our vision is the world that works for everybody. And that's our goal, is to make sure everybody gets a chance. So we're going to stick with that for a while. Today's service is presented by our technician today is Marina Anderson. She's in the background somewhere, and she'll be making sure you get to see who you need to see when whoever's talking. And Sue Fulmer did our wonderful meditation, and will also be providing our reading in a little bit. Shay Barlow, our wonderful musician, will be offering a couple songs. Mary Klein will be doing our reading. I'm Alan Stanley. I'll be your host and walk you through this service today. And of course, our senior minister, Reverend Joe Kovach, will be offering our message for today. So sit back and enjoy. We're really glad you're here. So we'll take a minute now and hear Shay, sing us a couple songs. Good morning, Shay.
Good morning, Alan. So glad to be here with everyone. So I'm just going to sing. This is a song that I wrote called Take Heed My Soul, and it was inspired by Ralph Waldo Emerson. In the midst of this song, we're going to have Mary Klein pop in and share an invocation. Then we're going to pop back to the song, and the lyrics will be on screen so you can sing along. Take heed, my soul, you are wiser than you know. Attend to worship plain and true. The source of my delight may be hidden from sight. Moments of faith come through. Aim high, be brave, let the soul have its way. Reveal, refine, live with the unity divine. Take heed, my soul, the common heart is whole. The answer in words unknown. The truth will be perceived by the soul that can believe and call the light its own. Aim high, be brave, let the soul have its way. Reveal, refine, live with the unity divine.
There is one life, be it personal or work life. And that life is God's life. That life is perfect. The divine intelligence that is God is absolutely perfect. It created all of life and then loved what it creates. And so as I am remembering this large idea for the greatness and the highest good for all things, I am remembering that blessings and miracles are abound, both personally and in my work life. And so I'm taking this time to focus my attention on the idea that through the lens of awe and wonder, the bounties of the universe is everywhere. As I open my heart and my mind, I begin to notice the tiny miracles and the tiny blessings that are all around me. That fills me with gratitude in small and large doses. I accept for each one listening to this prayer that yes, blessings and miracles flourish in an open mind and heart, creating the perfect atmosphere for all kinds of healing. And so It is with gratitude that I absolutely rest knowing that the highest and the greatest good for all is at hand, whether I recognize it or not. I accept this truth and move this prayer to the activity of the law which manifests as our experience. And so it is.
So it is. Take heed, my soul, you are wiser than you know. Sent to worship plain and true. The source of my delight may be hidden from sight. Moments of faith come through. Aim high, be brave. Let the soul have its way. Reveal, refine. Live with a unity divine. Take heed, my soul, the common heart is whole. The answer in words unknown. The truth will be perceived by the soul that can believe, and call the light its own. Aim high, be brave. Let the soul have its way. Reveal, refine. Live with a unity divine. We're going to welcome Sue back, and she is going to share a sacred reading. Good morning, Sue.
Thank you. Good morning. Oh, Shay. I was in a class with Shay, with Reverend Laura, when she was, we were studying the wise words of Emerson, and she was inspired to write that song. It is so, so beautiful. It says a lot. Thank you. So happy Labor Day weekend. I hope you're here with us. If not, you can watch us on Monday or Tuesday. As we fortunates rest from our labors for the holiday, I keep in mind who went to work today. Nurses, hospital workers, firefighters, and police officers. Grocery stores stay open to service, as do fuel stations. It certainly takes a village of workers to care for our communities, and I express appreciation for all those who work to make my life so pleasant. I'm a retired teacher. I told my students I was glad I didn't have to pay to be with them, that I got paid for doing what I loved. And I loved them. I started teaching when I was 47, such a young girl with a new career at 47. And I was blessed to continue that career for 21 years. My oldest son graduated recently from physician assistant training, and he'll begin working in neurosurgery at the Mayo Clinic. He's thrilled. And he's 51. So the message here is to keep on keeping on, to do what you love. Find what you love. And then it isn't a day of work, it's a day of joy. It hasn't been so good for working Americans always. During the 19th century, many people, including children, worked 7 days a week, and the workday was 12 hours long, at least. Most Americans endured harsh, unsafe, and working conditions to try to earn their living. Some worked on farms, while others worked in mines or factories. The tasks were often physically demanding and offering very low pay. In 1879 New York, A woman working as a dressmaker in a factory averaged between 33 and 58 cents per day. Many in the world still work with these pitiful conditions. Not long ago, I spent some time on the island of Saipan, and I met Filipino women who were doing sewing for very, very similar low wages. And they were actually locked into the work compound. And housemaids worked for even less pay. We have labor laws because people who cared rallied together to make an America that works for all. Labor leaders in the late 1800s suggested a Labor Day event to show the solidarity of labor unions and support for Americans' laborers. And later this day, Labor Day, was made a national holiday to honor all who labor. I want to quote our friend Eugene Holden in the magazine this month. Your work is not necessarily your job. On the spiritual path, your work has more to do with what brings you joy, connecting with what creates wonder in your life. Tap into your higher self and ask, what is mine to do? Then affirm, I am here to be the light of spirit. I work wonders in my life by being the best I can be every day. I am everyday wonder. Enjoy the blessings of this day. Thank you.
I loved that as well, Sue. I am everyday wonder. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. So, as has been mentioned, we are living Everyday Wonder this year, and August, new month. That maybe should say September. So September, I'm with us. It's my birthday month, so I do know this. Is work, and today's talk is good work. And I love what novelist and poet Robert Louis Stevenson said when he wrote, "Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds you plant." So it isn't always necessarily about what we're seeing in the moment, right? What are we building? What are we growing? And Reverend Dr. Petra Weldes, she brought these themes together the year and the month by saying, writing in Science of My magazine this month, to live in wonder at work is to remember that work is a vehicle through which we engage in life, in spiritual growth, and in the contribution of the unique expression of life that we are. That capital life, right, is spirit, right? The holy essence, and that is us. And I think it was Emerson who also said something like, the soul has need of an organ here, surely I shall assume the post. So in some ways you could say we are working for spirit. We are working for the one. Some would say that money could make the world turn. If you want to be somebody, you gotta have some cash to burn. But I have looked upon that mighty dollar sitting next to spirit. It just keeps on getting smaller. 'Cause money's not an issue when you're having fun, working for the one. Whether you work in a cubicle office or a retail store, whether you are the CEO on the highest floor, in the eye of the almighty power, it doesn't matter where you stand on the ladder, the highest position cannot be outdone. For the one, working for the one. So lend your ears to the wise words of Jesus. He said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's. What belongs to life you give to him. That's my heart and it's my mind and it's my strength, invested in my soul for the long run, working for the one. I'm working for the one. Every day working for the one. Okay. Alan, back to you, buddy.
That's great, Shay. I'll tell you what, everybody, we're all working for the one. And it's my pleasure to work with Shay and everybody else in this broadcast today, knowing that you're all out there doing the same thing. So that was a wonderful song. Thanks, Shay.
Thanks, Bill.
That's great. So, what do you think about that? Mm-hmm. So we have Reverend Joe Kovach, our senior minister, is going to offer our message today. And there's Reverend Joe, and I'm just going to...
Hello here, Alan. I'm looking a little up. There we go. How are you, sir?
I'm right here.
Well, I'm happy to have you and see you. And you're not playing today, so you get to listen, feel the vibe.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Appreciate you. And let's virtually give Shay and Sue and Mary kind of rounds of applause, our love for the meditation and for our prayer and our reading. And of course, Shay, for that song. I was vibing. I was knocking and giving it a drum beat on my side. So I hope you're feeling it too. This is a brand new month. Hard to believe that it is already September and Labor Day weekend, and working in education. I am absolutely loving the idea of having a 3-day weekend. It has been quite a month already. And life is happening. And, having that 3-day weekend makes me focus on this idea of work. Of course, again, Labor Day weekend. And this month is really a month that we're going to continue to look at Everyday Wonder. And this particular week, we're going to look at it through the eyes of doing good work. And, looking at this idea of that life is this adventure and this spiritual practice of finding the good in the work that we do. How? Well, through the revelation of everyday wonder with every task, every project we do, every chore we do, every conversation. It's all work. We're going to put that in quotes. And it's important to take a look at that, this idea of work and what it means. We're going to do that today. And really this week, our focus is not just work, but it's the skill, the gift, the talent that shows up in us, and probably more specifically shows up through us. That's the gift of work. And in the end, the level of our understanding of that and our own goodness and how that shows up in our work and as the product of our work, right? The more we recognize the awareness of spirit as all, that we're doing good work as in the sense of we're doing our best, right? We can't do better than our best. So no matter what we're doing, if we apply that, then we're going to notice that in the things that show up in our life. And really the discovery of wonder in our work becomes a spiritual practice. So we have to start somewhere, and where we start matters. And so if we start at the beginning in this present moment, this moment is the now moment. It's the moment where everything is happening, where everything is. The isness of what we call God in life is happening right now. Now is the only moment that we can actually both perform and experience the effects of our work. And so I always think it's apropos to begin with what we believe in our philosophy. And so it's long, but I'm going to read it, and hopefully we recognize this, because this is foundational to what we say is true. And this was written way back by Ernest Holmes, our founder. He says, "We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. Now, why would I put up there when we're talking about work? Because the simple idea of it's all what we call God, spirit, whether it's an idea or it's the form of the idea, the manifestation, that's a fancy word for these things that show up, whether it's a pen or whatever it is, because at some point this pen was an idea in somebody's mind. They wanted to communicate easier, more efficiently, and they had this idea. And at first it started out as a pencil, and then it went on and on and on, or they used the feather and the ink, and it became eventually a thing. And even this, okay, this is God in expression. It was an idea that came to form, and someday it will go back to this idea, into nothingness that it came from. So I want to start with this idea that not only, as we say, everything is God, we are that God in expression, and we are experiencing through our unique individuality what God is through what we do, through the thoughts that we have and what manifests. And all of that is what we could call work. Okay? So work is not just necessarily the place I show up to. Okay, it's not just the job, right? It's where we show up, our beingness. Work is discovering maybe our willingness to add our voice, our vision, and dream to that which exists not only for our good, but for everyone's good. And really, even if we think we're doing this for ourselves in a sense, remember, it's all one. Right? It's one big pond, and if you drop a pebble in a pond, it affects the whole pond. And so we could call it all good work because we can learn from it. In this thing called you, Ernest Holmes says this. He says, the spirit is happy, whole, free, filled with joy, eternal in its existence, and can provide you with everlasting expansion. All your highest hopes and dreams have come from it. So again, another way of saying that we can find this spirit, this joy, this freedom in everything, every day. And the time is right here, right now. So again, what is work? Is it a place, a building? Is it a job? J-O-B, just over broke, right? That's many of our mentalities at some point or another. We call it sometimes work the grind. Is it just a function? It's merely a means to an end, right? I'm just working so I can get the next best thing that I think is going to make me happy. Think about that for a minute. How many of us are just doing that? Or we see our work as only the source of money, our financial flow. That's a limitation of itself. And it's an argument I fought with myself for a very long time until I opened up and truly embodied that which we call life is the source of all. And our work is the expression of knowing that. So still speaking about where we begin, how we speak our word about work matters, right? Again, what is our thought? What is our thinking? Is it, there's one way of saying, oh, thank God it's Friday. I love my job. And at the same time, I get to spend it with my family and do other things that I enjoy. Or is it one of those situations where it's, oh, thank God it's Friday. I hate my job. I'd rather be doing blah, 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 blah. And all that other opportunities, the blah, 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 is an option. But we shut it down because we don't embody the true word. We don't recognize God as everything. And look, it is a journey. Wherever you're at on the journey, be okay with that. I've been on the far end where I was a complete victim and looked at job as the only source of my life and was miserable. And I was in what we used to call dead end jobs. And now I realize that every one of those opportunities gave me something. Gave me a gift, a skill, something. And I also noticed through challenges that, you know what, the more I even pretended to like my job, the more I enjoyed it truly. So again, what are we speaking? What are we feeling about our current job? And again, whether our job is a chore, okay, our creative expression, okay, or somewhere in between. The starting point, share the quote. Again, Ernest Holmes, the starting point of all creation is the word of spirit. The word is the concept, idea, image, or thought of God. We say that again. The word is the concept, idea, image, or thought of God. It is the self-knowing mind speaking itself into manifestation, again, form. The word back of everything is its initial cause. So what are we saying right here? The word back of everything. What is my thought about what I am doing? What is my thought about it? Do I believe in my own gifts and talents? When I say the word work, what am I feeling? At its best, work, again, is our choice of creative expression. We express the God that we are aware of, and in essence, that we recognize that we are. And when we are completely aligned with that choice of our creative expression, of our work, we generally won't even describe it as work, right? Think about that. When we are really doing something we love, then it's not work. It's not a chore. Instead, we would actually probably call it like an action of joy, of love, of self-expression. Going back to last month's, it's an act of us being human and being aligned with our humanity. And again, you know, I remember when I was young at chores, I loved vacuuming, and I don't know why. I just love that idea of being able to, you know, clean and see the lines on the rug and make it all clean, and I still do. I like hosing things down, you know, making it clean, getting all the dirt away and seeing that, cutting the lawn, those kinds of things. And sometimes it's even meditative for me. I throw my whole self in. I see and recognize the good that I'm doing, and it makes me feel good. And even though I see that as in my little life, I feel good, I like to sit and ponder again, like that good is experiencing and expanding, and its vibration is going out from me, affecting all around me. So bringing in this idea now of wonder. And wonder, again, is this idea of a feeling of amazement, of esteem. We see it as with a sense of beauty. Wonder could be a feeling of unexpectedness, unfamiliar, something that we're unfamiliar with. And it creates a state at times of awe. So I was getting into this. I know we've been dealing with this idea of wonder, but with regards to what we're doing here, I came up with a definition, and I said it's the purposeful contemplation of the limitlessness of spirit within ourselves, a moment, or an action. See, I made that up. Cool. So again, what is wonder? Wonder is the purposeful contemplation of the limitlessness of spirit within ourselves, a moment, or an action. So as we're doing something, are we seeing the infiniteness in it and our self-knowingness that we're choosing this right here, right now? That is powerful. Think about that. Another definition of wonder comes from Socrates, and he says, wonder is the beginning of wisdom. Right? We open our minds to the power of the infinite mind. We recognize we have our mind. It's an individual. It's a self-knowingness, and then we can open that at any time to the greater knowing, and align with the wisdom of the ages, as we would call it. So work is thought of sometimes as just the thing to do, the method or the avenue, again, that brings us closer to what we think is going to make us happy. And in essence, that's not necessarily bad, but it is a limited view, meaning I'm working. Why? Because I like to have my own home. I'd like a car. I need transportation. Things are important. Necessities, you know, food, water, clothing, all that is supplied through work at our job, but also what about what are we doing? Also, is it a process? Is it what we come down and just do every day to prepare ourselves? Does work include our spiritual practices? And again, it depends on the definition and the broadness of this work. Because we can talk about mighty works, we throw an S on that. The works of the divine show up through the work that we do. And when we recognize that what our work is part of the works, plural, of God itself, it feels like wholeness, like you're contributing to the whole, like we're that special ingredient that just can't, this beautiful thing we're baking can't be without. It's like our secret sauce, right? Alan Watts says, the secret of success is to be completely engaged with what you are doing in the here and the now, bringing it again back to this now moment. And instead of calling it work, realize it's play. So he talks about just shifting it. And shifting, I know some people that won't even speak the word work just because for them, the meaning that they give to it has a negative connotation or just something that doesn't feel as good as play. Okay. So, let's consider this notion that, if our expertise in work was rooted in wonder as just everyday part of this is how it is. These are the rules of my life. I'm going to go through life with a sense of curiosity, a sense of awe in everything I do, in every experience that shows up. This is the work, even while I'm working. Whew. And what if the way to achieve our perfect imagined life begins in a state of wonder about everything? Right? Going back to that very first statement that I showed you, the slide of what we believe. If we're truly believing that it's all God, then there's a limitlessness. It's hard to wrap our mind around this infinite nature of God. But the more we wonder, the more we get to experience that wonder showing up in our lives. Play. Can we get to this place of going to work and literally enjoying it so much that it's play? And if not, what can we do within ourselves? Because we go back to this idea that the life that is out picturing comes from the light within, right? Just like a movie theater, this infinite light within is shining. This spirit is shining through it. It's our filters, our individual filters, which cast our reality. And so if I'm not liking it, what can I do to experience the wonder, the joy? And that's obviously is a shift in our own perception. So again, can I shift from this idea that I'm going to work and clocking in and this limited idea, this monotonous, oh, here we go again, and I have to do this and this and then, or can I get to the point where I'm recognizing I'm choosing to do whatever I want, and it's a divine choice. And not only is it a divine choice, but the divine backs my choice up. And then I'm coming from this place of wonder saying, all right, this is what I'm doing. How are you going to show up? Life, God, Spirit, how are you going to show up and put me in a place of awe, doing something as simple as the dishes in my home? Khalil Gibran, and I love him as an author, he says this, he says, when you work, you are a flute through whose heart the whispering of the hours turns to music. This is beautiful. And this was his work of sharing these beautiful thoughts. We're all doing sacred work. And so after we start this idea of the beginning, the next step is believing. Can we believe that there's a possibility of looking at work as play? It's about the possibility of finding hope and faith, whether it's in a boardroom, a classroom, you're working from home, working with a patient, again, you're under a car fixing that. Whatever you're doing, there's no levels of what you're doing. Right? Every job, every task is as important as we make it. I don't care if it's bending down and picking up something that somebody else dropped and putting it in a garbage can. That's service. That we can look at work. And another way, maybe a more meaningful definition of work is service. We are showing up and being servants of the divine. And this servant doesn't mean as a slave servant, but we're in service to the wonder. Okay, if I do this, I wonder if more people will do this. And if what I'm doing is positive and makes me feel good, I wonder how many people can do it and feel good. Can we make today wonder full? In other words, can we see it full of wonder? Simply by inviting good things to show up in our lives. And we do this with our attitude, with this sense of wonder, bringing it to, again, all that we do. Another quote I want to share with you talks about this idea that it says, I will know more and different things tomorrow than I know today. And I can be open to the new possibility I cannot even imagine today. So this quote is, for me, this quote is saying that I don't even recognize the good that I do today sometimes. I do in my own limited way. And at the same time, I recognize that by doing this, by putting my whole self in, by seeing this as a sacred divine act of God and as God, what else is there? Right? And to think of it kind of as a boom, as an aha moment that came to me is, what if wonder is the work itself? That is the work. Like, no matter what we're doing, no matter where we are, no matter who we're with, can we find joy in that moment? Can we find love and experience love in that moment? Can we find the wonder that's going on in that moment? Because, if this is true, then no matter what the work is or was that we're doing, we would eventually discover the sacred and profoundness within it. This is another great quote I wanted to share. Henry Giles, who was a basketball player, says, there is no work so menial, right, so basic, that you cannot exalt it. There is no work so impassive that you cannot breathe your soul into it. There is no work so dull that one may not enliven it with their own being. That says it all. Right? Think about when we witness somebody else doing their work, being in the wonder of their work. It's a beauty. Whether for this person, it brings up the idea he's a basketball player. We think of the greats like Michael Jordan. I love hockey, so I can think of the greats that when they do it, it's literally an act of beauty. And I don't care whether it's whatever it is. I've watched people garden, and they're so into it with their beingness that it's not work, it's grace in action. So can we do that? And then this third part about, is where we begin and are believing in it, is then it's the action, the behaving, the attitude that we take on. His name was Machado. He's a Spanish poet. He says, "Wayfarer, there is no way. We make the way by walking." So in other words, whatever we're doing, we're creating the way. The way for what? The way that spirit shows up in and through. The way we allow this sense of wonder to show up. How do we put it on in our lives? How do we add our individuality to this limitless wonder? And again, I think it comes, I've said it 100 times, it comes back to that no matter what it is, the smallest, menial, monotonous task, we can find beauty in that. There's times when I practice this and I'm standing in line and I get really impatient really quick at times, believe it or not. I'm human. And I'll just sit around and at first I get caught up in the circumstances of it. And I'm watching people do their thing and my judgment is I can do it better, hurry up, let's get this line moving. And then I pause because I realize I'm not feeling good and I'm the one doing it. They're my thoughts, my feelings. And so I just take a deep breath, I center, and I look around. And I start finding things to appreciate. I try to find the wonder in everything that's going on. So I'm doing a chore, I'm at the store, I'm buying groceries, whatnot, or I'm pumping gas or whatever it's going on. And yet I could find the wonder in it. And it's a choice. We get to do that. And so, the simple idea is, are we paying attention to what we're doing and how is it showing up, and where are we saying, or what are we saying is the source of this wonder? Because if I'm saying I'm bored, then I'm saying basically the reality, which are the things, to show up and entertain me. But a thing is not going to entertain me. A thing is a thing. It's my attitude towards the thing and what's going on. You know, it goes back to like when we were children. You know, everything was play. You know, until we took on different meanings. Even when we went to school at a young age, it was play. It was fun. It was new. We had that sense of wonder in it. And somewhere along the lines, we learned differently. And so let us bring that sense of wonder, that limitless idea of play, that everything can be playful. I'm going to share with you a quote. It's a long one. I just could not do without it. So I'm going to read it. I'm going to not do the laser here. It says, it's by Scott Aubrey. He says, although we are of a spiritual nature, we have been placed in a physical dimension and we have our fair share of troubles. While we are living a spiritual life, it is holy work to attend to the business of this world. We can call that work. We can bring great meaning to what we do, sustaining our families, loving our friends, taking care of our bodies, caring for this planet, and doing our work as love made visible. Say that again. Doing our work as love made visible. And it says, all of it is noble and saintly activity. The ground on which we walk is holy. Now that is a beautiful view. So I'm going to sum it up by sharing this story with you. And it goes like this. There was a politician who was running for office, and he sent an advance team ahead to this particular town to make it ready for his visit. And they invested in advertising and planned these special events. And so the day finally comes when the politician and his team show up, and they show up, and the area for the event, there was no one. Literally virtually empty. There was no grand welcome. There was nobody even on the streets. And at first I thought, well, all right, double check. We're in the right town. We're in the right venue. Maybe there was some kind of an emergency. So eventually they learned that on the other side of town, there was a cemetery and everybody was gathered there. Everyone had turned out for a memorial service. And the politician said, well, it must have been a very important person in the town, perhaps a mayor or a councilman or a founding father. So he sends one of his aides to find out who had passed away, who was so important. And after a few minutes, the aide came back and reported that the deceased's name was Marvin Jones, 77 years old, and he was a lifelong resident of the town. And the politician demanded to know what was so important about this guy that the entire town would turn out. And the simple answer was that Marvin had been a crossing guard for 39 years. Right? There is no task too small not to be seen as godly service. Right? Everything we do is in service not only for our own soul and spirit, but we're all connected wholly, universally. And so let us bring this sense of wonder to everything that we do. Let's practice that this week. And in practice, we do our affirmations. Our affirmation this week, I'm going to read it once, and then I'm going to read it with more passion. So just reading it words, the doing of good work in the world is a wonder to behold. All right. Now we know that as we say it, we infuse it with energy. Our intention matters. So I'm going to take a deep breath here. And say it with me. The doing of good work in the world is a wonder to behold. So I'm going to close with just a prayer of knowing. I ask you to join me in spirit and mind and recognizing that one power, that one presence that we call light is truly all things. It is me. It is you. It is the work that we do. And it is truly a wonder that each of us is beholding in our own perfect, unique way. It is a perfect wonder that shows up through the work of CSL St. George and its beloved community. It is a wonder that it's just being right here, right now, in its fullness And we can choose to tap into that anytime we choose. We choose that now. We choose to open to the wonder, to be that wonder, to call that wonder to and through us, and be one with that. We play with it. We make it fun. We enjoy it. And so it is.
So it is. Thank
So
you,
it
Reverend
is.
Joe. Thank you for doing what you do. We really
This is a joy. It's not work. I'll tell you that.
It's wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, there you go again. Just keep tuning in, and I'd like to thank all of you for what you do too. We sometimes don't understand or realize what we do and the effects it has, but it certainly does. So we're going to do some announcements, and here's a good one right off the bat. We have a new web administrator. Our own lovely Gray Barlow has stepped up, and she will be handling the website, Facebook, social media coordinator, which she's already been doing. And we're really looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Gray, for stepping up. Thank you. So here's, almost said it again. This coming Saturday, am I laughing at myself? In-person gathering is going to be happening again. This Saturday, September 10th from 10 to 12. And these things are pretty cool. So come on out. If you're within 500 miles, you could be here. And it's going to be at the Ridge Point Clubhouse on Telegraph Avenue in Washington, which is a little suburb of St. George here. So we're looking forward. Everybody's going to be getting together. And these things are really turning out to be a happening. So it's kind of the beginning of us joining together again in person every Sunday. So the book study is starting again. I think the date may have been moved. So it's going to be starting on Thursday, beginning September 22nd from 6 to 7. God is Bigger Than the Bible. I like that. It's by Raymond Moody. If you'd like to participate in it, you can email Sue at suefulmer@gmail.com, get signed up, and find out how to get the book and this and that. Those things are always great to attend. So we're looking forward to seeing you. We're going to have a conversation meeting now, and that's going to be starting up on Wednesdays, and that'll begin on Wednesday, October 12th. We just connect, self-reflect, and create our community coming back together. Conversation is going to be about diversity, equity, and inclusion. So please sign up for that. If you'd like to attend, you can. It's going to be facilitated by Marina and Bill Smith. Email information, and to register, you can email Marina Anderson at CSLSGeorge.org. Things are really starting to happen again now. We got the book club, we got the conversation night, we got our Saturday meetings. This thing's hooking along. So we have a community care circle. If you'd like somebody to talk to, or these folks are just volunteers to help. So if you'd like somebody to contact you, you can call the phone number 435-893-6702. Somebody will get back a hold of you just as soon as they can. And we have prayer requests. Our practitioners live for this. If you'd like somebody to pray with you, you can email the prayer requests to prayer@CSL St. George. Somebody will get a hold of you, and you can have your own time together in prayer. That's a really good thing. So we have our tithes and offerings, of course, going on. We live in the flow, and this thing is really starting to kick in and flow. You give it, you get it back. There is no emptiness in between this deal. And this applies to a lot of things, but it also applies to money and the tithing. If you give it, there's more coming right down. It's just like a creek. You don't want to stop the creek up. So pass your money along, and you'll be receiving a lot more in turn. So there's many ways to do that. You can do that through the barcode or whatever that thing said before it went away. And PayPal, remember that much. During our community conversation on Zoom this afternoon, which is going to be at 12 o'clock Mountain Time, and you even know who you are out there. If you're somewhere across the country, you can join us. And we just talk about all kinds of things. But my practitioner today will be Mary Klein, and she'll be there. And if you'd like somebody to join you in prayer, you can type into the chat. You will be connected with Mary and sent off to another room in the Zoom meeting, and you can have a private time with her to pray. It's really a good thing. So this technology is really cool. Next week, again, our own Reverend Joe Kovach will be talking and offering our message, Creating Life That Matters. The following week, on the 18th of September, Eugene Holden's back. We're looking forward to that. And he'll be talking about living your dream. So be sure and join us again. We really appreciate you showing up to this deal. Now, we're going to get back together and do our closing affirmations, and we'll take turns. But you can just join in and say them all. So I think everybody's here. So let's get this party started.
All right. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do.
I embrace it, I am it, and I share it.
Just the way that it is.
And just the way that it is becoming.
Thank you. Life.
Thank you, everybody. You can see we're working on these sign things while we're doing that. So join us at that too. We're just like waving at each other. We love you all. We'll see you next week. Don't forget about the new book study and the meetings on Wednesday.
We'll see you in 9 minutes for our meeting.